if we could run it through your LLC. So we ran it through my LLC and I actually got the floor to you.
Okay. Recording in progress, so don't say anything you don't
Yeah,
want
don't
to
say
out.
anything.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let's start off with some fun facts. And the winner of this gets nothing. Gets nothing. So, gets an appraisal waiver?
Yeah.
True story, I just had. So true story, just took an offer, 50% down on one of my listings. I thought, get an appraisal waiver. You know, got an appraisal done. I didn't get the results back yet. I thought we were gonna get one, but anyway. So fun fact, in January of 2023, as compared to January of 2024 at RAAC, how many more or less members do you think? Well, first of all, do you think there were more or less members this January as compared to last January? Everybody says less?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. How many less?
300.
Anybody else want to throw a number out? 200.
Big count.
400. Great. That's all.
You guys are way high.
25.
Still high.
Really?
90.
38.
It's probably 8.
100. So you knew that?
Yeah, we have one less member this year as compared to January of the previous year. And do you know why? Exactly. You know what? You know the main reason people get into real estate?
HGTV. Easy. Back.
HGTV to make money
And make their own schedule.
and make your
So
own.
they
Yeah.
think.
Uh-huh. Who works 40 hours a week?
Plus.
Plus, and that's the reason why. No, they get into real estate to make money and they get into it for the wrong reason. We're in it to help people. We're not in it to make money. Money is come secondary, but that. More fun facts. As of this morning, in all of York County, not including new construction, there were 322 homes available to be purchased this morning, not new construction in York County. There's currently 497 that are under contract. That's York County. Let's go across the river to Lancaster County. 197 in Lancaster County that can be purchased, and there's 429 that are currently under contract. Now let's go out and visit our people out in Adams County.
Yes.
Yes?
5 houses.
There's a few more than that. There's 79. 79 homes available, all of Adams County, and 75 are currently under contract. So there's two things that we're gonna do. That we're gonna have more in 24, and we're gonna survive till 25. That's the slogans that are out there that I've heard about it. So it's not an easy market. And it's about competition. So, you know, my job is to help you guys to understand the appraisal process, what we do. So 99% of what I do is appraising. I'm also a broker. I know enough to be dangerous on the broker side. I had 4 listings so far this year. That's it. I have 1 coming soon. So I don't do a whole lot in the sales arena, just a little bit that I play in, but that's my fun job I'd rather list than sell. I don't like dragging people around through houses, but I'd rather list. So we're going to start off with tax assessment appeal, tell you a little bit about that, why it's important that you know it for your job and the industry as a whole. We're going to roll into kind of like what we're doing as far as adjustments are concerned. Going to open up the Q&A. Anytime you have questions, please stop me. And we want to try and make this helpful. So there are 67 counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We live in a Commonwealth. Commonwealth is not a great thing all the time.
No, you can have it.
What's that? Say that?
I said you can have it.
You can have it.
Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. I moved here. I said.
Not that fun, is it?
No.
So it's completely, it's the wild, wild west when you deal with the Commonwealth. We make the rules up as we go. you know, and subject to
You
change,
can have.
you know. So there's 4 counties in the state of Pennsylvania, last time I was here, you heard Sean and Teresa talk about it, that have this great idea of how to generate revenue. That revenue stream is they're going through and they are looking at all the properties that sold on the MLS or that were on Zillow. And the county is sitting there, they're paying a county employee to review the photos, compare it to the tax record, and to be able to determine if they're correcting the record as they put it. Not fun, not fun. So if there's something that's in the house that they didn't know about, a finished basement, a deck, a porch, a patio, a pool, a horse barn. You guys, you horse people would never build stuff without permits, right? Never. They're now coming back and they're sending them an interim tax bill. So connecting you, the realtor, to your clients, buyers, that past clients, it allows you to still have that touch, that reach to them, and be able to show them the way through the tax assessment appeal process. So I'm gonna try and do this. We're scrolling, we're not moving. Does your,
You're up there at the top.
oh, where am I?
There you
Oh,
go.
where do I
Go
go?
over to this side
Yeah,
and then just click.
click.
Which are these 4 counties that you're speaking of?
Your county's one, and I don't know the other 3.
Adams County's done.
I don't know if they're doing
We
it.
got some,
Big hammer.
that was a question, I was wondering if
Okay.
they.
think
if
they're
they-
new facilities. I
Assessments
think it
were
might be.
triggered, they can reassess on sale, is that typical, right?
Well, in the old days, they used to call it spot reassessment. They can't say, hey, you know, I don't like a guy with glasses. I'm driving by your house, you have your glasses on. You see if there's anything in your house that I don't like that we want to assess you for. That was called spot reassessment, and that was illegal, okay? And I talked to Peter Ruth, who is the solicitor for RAAC. He's also the solicitor for the York County Tax Assessment Office. The Fox and the hen house, and I love Peter, and Peter knows this because I put him to task. I've kind of talked to him about this. I'm like, I don't exactly know that this is correct or right, but it is what it is. So here is a property, and this is a real life case. This is a reassessment that we're working. And the reason I know this is the lady came from Maryland and purchased this property here. So the tax assessment of the property, $235,420. When you multiply it, can we get rid of this part of it because you're hiding mine? And he will have this slide available that if you would like a copy of them. Thank you. Times the common level ratio. Common level ratio varies from county to county, and you'll see that in my next slide. Currently for your county it's 1.76. If you take the tax assessed value and multiply it times the 1.76, the county is implying that the value of this property is $414,339. That's a problem because that was sold in May of 23 for $355,000. So there's a delta there between the $355 that they paid for the home and the $414 that the county is implying that the value is. So,
Can you, I'm sure there's people who ask this question.
Yep.
What the common level ratio actually means.
so the common level ratio is set, it varies from county to county, and it changes on July 1 of every year. It's calculations based upon, and I don't set them, but it's based upon, they look at the sale prices in that county, and they come up to whatever it is supposed to be for that area. And what it does, it takes the last time, hey, welcome. How are you? Haven't talked to you in forever.
Oh, yeah, right. Just 2 days ago.
But what that number does, it takes the last time that county was reassessed, which for your county was 2004, 2005, and reverts that number back to a real life dollar of what the property should be worth today. And that is assuming that the assessed value is correct. So, and when I go to my next slide, you'll see what I mean by. So, did I lose anybody yet? No?
Where? You can see it on your front.
Oh, no, I guess that's better. Okay, so I know this is a little small, but this is a list of our local counties surrounding us And these are the current common level ratios. And what you'll see is I pulled this directly from the state website, and it lists every county and it lists every common level ratio. So don't use that 1.76 if you're in Adams County or a different county, because they have different common level ratios. But everyone is different, but it's a real quick way that you can take the assessed value of a property, if you're going on a listing appointment, and do a real quick calculation, because you know, as soon as you walk in the door, they're gonna say, my estimate said my house is worth this. And you know that that estimate's always correct, right? So, but what it does is it gives you a real quick check and balance to see approximately what the value is, provided that the assessed value is correct.
Can you run like a scenario?
Can I run?
Yeah,
I just did. The previous one,
yeah.
okay,
So.
so
Go to the left side if you went to previous,
what's that?
left side of the screen.
Okay, so right there. So if you see that this lady had, after she she didn't have a finished basement, you'll see it in the notice that she got. If you take the 235,420, that's her current assessed value. And if you multiply that times 1.76, that's implying that her house should be worth $414,339 is what it's doing. So that is the implied value of that property.
And that's the assumed assessment from roughly 2004. 2004.
Yeah, 2004. So every property that when you go in, like when you go into the tax record, you'll see a land, a building, and a total assessment. You're gonna multiply times the total assessment to get that total assessed number is what you're gonna come up with.
It's trying to compare like apples to apples. It's saying this is 2004, we're adjusting it to what we think it should be
Or
current day.
today.
But also, obviously, it's different from what the sale
Yes.
price was.
So the 414
Yes.
is, are we saying that's the new assessed value?
No, that's the new implied value. That, the county is saying, the county is sitting there saying, we think that this home on Greenview is worth 414,000 because we just now reassessed you for the finished basement. So when this lady purchased her house, okay, she came up from Maryland, she bought this house, she paid $355 for the house. That's real world cash dollars, what she paid for the
Did it
house.
have the finished basement then, or not?
It had the finished
Okay.
basement. The tax record did not have the finished basement. So the little person sitting at the county went, oh, look, we don't have a finished basement. Let's send them an interim tax bill, and you'll see that interim tax bill here in a moment. So there's your assessed value. So, what we'll see here is if you go on to the county website, okay? And right here's your county website right here. Okay, you're gonna get copies of all this. Brian said he'll give them to you for a nominal fee. Yeah, and you're gonna be, they all have to sign contracts to stay here for 5 years, right?
Right.
Okay, something like that. Okay, 10. Anyway, if you see right here, the 2023, August 1st, it was effective. They whacked her for a finished basement / finished rec room. So what they did was they took the old assessment, which was previously, I'm sorry, 222,390 was the implied value, and they whacked her all the way up to 235,420. So they increased her assessed value by that much, is what they did.
So the person that sold the house
Mhm.
that she bought
The
from,
realtor,
the sellers.
the seller, yeah,
They finished the basement without getting permits.
we don't know that.
Oh, okay. So you would assume they would know that if they got permits though, right?
You would hope so.
Okay.
But now, now everybody who makes an improvement always gets a building permit, right?
And that's what my question was.
Yeah.
They probably finished the basement and
Somebody-
get permit.
Yeah, now I do have a couple instances where, like, for one, they had a deck in the back of the house. And for some reason, the builder installed the deck, the county never picked it up, so they came out to pick up another improvement, like they were putting up a garage or a shed or something like that. They walked around the back of the house and went, oh, look at that, we got a deck. So they got a deck and a shed that they got got double jeopardy.
They're
So.
doing that on rehabs now too. They're going through the pictures and then they're sending the people interim tax bills.
The new
I had
people.
2 clients that got nailed last year that probably
Our new listings will have one photo.
So.
No, and I'll tell you. You don't want to do, because Bruce get Fraser over. The picture is so much better. Honestly, I'm sitting working on the appraisal. I got one screen here. I'm sitting here working on my appraisal. On the other screen over here, I've got the comp up with all the photographs rolling through there. And I'll tell you what's really nice is the sketches. If you have the interior room sketch, you can kind of get a feel for the layout. You can get, there's so much rich data in the MLS. That's the value of the MLS. And that's, again, part of our job as realtors is we need to show our value to the consumer, because trust me, our commissions are under attack. Our livelihood is under attack. There was just an article that came out yesterday. I didn't even get to read the whole thing, but a bank hired these two economists, and they wanted to evaluate how much a realtor makes. And they said, realtors are making too much money. This is a bank, not local, but it was like crazy. Did I hear my name?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I'll get to
that's a part of the NAR situation too. That is very concerning. The fact that there are statements that are coming out by the DOJ stating that we as realtors are earning too much money and are setting commission at a certain amount, and they're not going to be deviating from that, is a problem. You have to be careful.
We do. We have to be careful. We can't talk about commissions, but we as realtors and real estate professionals need to show our value to the consumer, and we have to show that we're pro-consumer. There's this one advertisement in California where this guy, he's pushing his brand of, I have the listings, you send your buyer to me and I'll pay you a nominal fee. Reed, I'll pay you a flat fee. And I will take care of your buyer, almost like you do with new construction and builder. Basically, you drop the buyer off to the builder and you say, see ya, and they send you a nominal fee and they take care of everything. But where is buyer representation? There isn't it. There
That's
isn't
the
it.
problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you had a question,
I did, it had to do with this.
yes,
In this case, I see like the value went up.
from 222 to 235.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the assessed value in.
Right, so it'll make sense as to why. I'm thinking in like my own piece of my own house, I actually pulled this up.
Yeah.
My taxes just went up $600, but my value on this only went up 1,000. So do you have examples of that coming up as to why there's,
Well, why did it?
I don't. And I'm like, what did it say on this website? Cause I have, they got me on a patio, but again, they added the value to be $1,000. So
On the patio, but your taxes went up
$600. That's what.
That seems incredibly,
I bought it 3 years ago and they were 6,600 and now they're 72.
Well, wouldn't that be really?
yeah, so every year,
Okay.
every year,
Not changed it.
well, so every year, so your assessment, they may not change, but the millage rates are going to change. Your millage rates for the county, the municipal, and the school.
Okay. So
They go
not
up
all-
on average about $100 a year. If you look at the average tax, I've looked at tax bills, like I have some rental properties, every year they go up $100. And I mean, it's almost like clockwork that they go up $100, and it's like, good gracious. And I got nailed for the same thing. I replaced an existing wood deck with a composite deck. And they whacked my assessment on my rental properties. I'm like, but it was the exact same thing. So you see where it went from the 222 to the 235. So your next slide that I'm gonna have for you is, this is what she received in the mail. So she received 2 notices here. The first one was an interim tax bill. You can see that basically her taxes went up about $230 some is what they went up on average, is what they went up. So she received these 2 interim tax bills. Now, in order to do a tax assessment appeal in any county, you cannot have delinquent taxes, number 1. So the very first thing is they need to pay this interim tax bill. And in the memo, they need to put paid under protest. They need to write that paid under protest. Because if they win their tax assessment appeal, they should, I stress the word should, get their money back that they paid. They should, provided that this is filed within the first 40 days, and you'll see that on my next slide, I think. That it will say that, so they're gonna get 2 tax bills, interim tax bills, come on, let's go.
Do they put this in your county? Do you get the door hanger that's we've been here?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you're gonna fill them out honestly. Where am I?
You're up.
I can't even. Ryan, I hate your,
So does.
Where you at?
I have no clue.
Can you use the right and left arrow on the keyboard?
Go the right there.
All right, here we go. So where do you get the forms? You get them online, and there's the website. You're gonna give copies of all this. Everybody's writing, but you're gonna get this. This is where you're gonna get the forms. Okay, you're gonna go over here and you're gonna click on the tax assessment appeal form. It's a very simple 2-page form. What do the forms look like? Glad you asked. Thanks for asking. Okay, here's the first page of what the form looks like. The county, now, if you file it within the first 40 days of receiving the notice, there's no fee. If you file it after the 41st day, residential properties are $25 for appeal. Non-residential properties are $50 per unit. So if it's a multifamily, they whack it per unit. And then there's a list of all the fees that you are associated with it.
What's the cutoff?
The cutoff is August 1st.
Okay,
Now-
I think Adams County's might be June 1 or maybe June 30th. It's earlier than.
Okay, I know in your county, it's August 1. So what you're gonna do, this is what the form looks like. So the owner's name and phone number go here, the district map of parcel goes there in the current assessment. The parcel location, their email address. And then they'll either check self or other, an owner must go to the hearing with the appraiser. Okay, the appraiser can't go on their own, one of the owners has to go with them. They're gonna sign it, they're gonna date it, and the second page at the top, it says, do you or your agent plan on submitting 4 copies of the appraisal 14 calendar days prior to the hearing? The answer is yes. You cannot use an appraisal for financing purposes because it was not done for tax assessment appeal purposes only. What's that?
Why does that matter?
Because under the statement of limiting conditions on a financing appraisal, it says it can only be used for that transaction. That's all it can be used for. So you can't use it. And I've seen homeowners go walking in there, here's my appraisal, and they're like, and there's the door. The other thing that they cannot argue is you cannot argue assessed value to assessed value. You get the angry homeowner, it says, my neighbor is only assessed at this much and they're paying the less taxes. Yes,
For them to get a new appraisal, can they call the appraiser that did the original report and ask them to revise it?
well, they have to do a new report. The reason is, so when I do a financing appraisal, you sold a property to your buyer. Okay, I come out and do the appraisal, it's dated January 2nd. They close, let's say February 1st. I can't just take that appraisal and say, here you go. They have to come back out because what if the buyer made improvements? They want to know that I did a complete walkthrough on the date that, whatever date I sign it, and it has to be after the reported date of the deed.
So it would be the same cost to use the same.
We would massage that cost a little bit is what we would do. It's gonna be a cost though. And talk to the appraiser because some appraisers will not go to court. Some appraisers are like, nope, will not go to court. Me, I love going to court.
Does it cost also to go to court?
Sure does. Yeah.
Which is?
So what we typically charge for your typical average run-of-the-mill property is we charge $600. 500 for the appraisal and 100 to go to court. So you're gonna whack in $600 for that. Plus they've got to write a separate check out to the county of York if it's not filed within the first 40 days. 40
You happen to
days.
get like another Benjamin, does go in our favor?
That
You
we cannot base our fee upon an outcome. There are people, there are some attorneys out here that will take on a case and they get half of the savings for 2 years.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And our fee is under fire.
They are. They really, really are.
I will say that I bought my house in 2015 with Joe and Ryan as my realtor, and it was pretty awesome. And then
Awful.
And you're like. "It's funny."
But they use this tax assessment process as guiding me through it as a value add to me as as the realtor. So
Yeah.
that work, I wouldn't have known as a consumer. Yeah, Joe went with me to court
Yeah.
and I got a decrease. But that was
Yeah, but that's kind of the appeal process, if you will. The process is very simple. You have until August 1st to file. Now, if you file within the first 40 days, it goes to the date that you file an appeal. If you wait till after, like if you just, let's just say Maria wanted to appeal her taxes and she wanted to apply today and she wins, okay? The change in assessment for her property will go into effect 1/1 of 25, as long as she filed before August 1st. You file on August 2nd, it's a whole other ball of wax. The appeal process is very simple. When you go to court, they give you 10 minutes. That's your 10 minutes of fame. You're gonna go in, you're gonna go in front of the Tax Assessment Appeal Board, who is made up of 3 members of the public that were appointed by the county commissioners. One is Ed Bender, who's a realtor. The other one is Melinda Apolito, who's an appraiser, and the other one is Jay Matthews, who's an appraiser. You're gonna go in front of them, you're gonna have your hearing, they will make no decision on the spot, they'll have up to 3 weeks to notify you in writing of what your results are. Questions? Comments? Everybody's checking their assessment, I see everybody whipping their phones out, checking their assessment, but go ahead.
This is based off really what the appraisal comes back at.
Well.
If you only have
appraisal
10 minutes. Like they're just gonna look at the appraisal after the
So
fact.
basically, when I go in there, okay, they swear you in, and then at that point in time, what we do is we really go to the sales. We go to the comparable, we start talking about the comparables. We'll say, well, comp 1 was, bigger in size, similar in condition, had this, had that. Comp 2 was this, comp 3 was this. I say, okay, well, now we have a value range of, say, 350 to 375. We concluded a value of X, and we feel this is what we feel is a fair and reasonable value. The county does not have to agree with my appraised value. They can pick any number they want, whatever that number is, and they are not going to disclose how they came up to that number because they pick a number and they move on. If you disagree with that number, you can appeal it again, but now you're going to court. I've had one in my entire career go to court. And I probably did 2,500, 3,000 of these in my career. So, but this is fun going to court. It's a learning experience, to be honest with you. And the county will be there and their county assessor will be there for rebuttal.
So, but your assessment could theoretically go up too.
Correct. You're opening Pandora's box.
It's a scare right now with the assessments and the equity people have, it's a slippery slope. If you're not on the hook from a recent sale, that triggers a possible reassessment, right? I mean, it's like a.
So if I go walking into your property, let's just say, excuse me, you're doing an appeal, but you've never sold the house. And you're like, look, we think we're over assessed. Because when the market crashed in 2007, 8, 9, and 10, there was one attorney locally that he hit all his buddies in Wyndham. He hit all his buddies in Rosenmiller. Because those houses that were once worth $1 million were worth 3, 4, 500,000. Logan's Reserve, we did almost every one of those houses because they were built at the peak of the market and the market crashed. And some of those sold for $199, $210, and they're now back up to $400,000 or $500,000. So we pretty much appealed almost all of those. You're going to find that one outlier that they didn't appeal it, and it may make sense for them to appeal it. This poor lady that moved up from Maryland on this Greenview, I mean, she was just appalled. And again, she's from Maryland. She didn't know the process. Luckily, she had a realtor who knew the process and said, no. Here's what we need to do. We need to file an appeal. We need to, and I think in 2 weeks we'll be going to court to figure all that out. But it's a good way to connect with your client and it shows your value. Again, they prove their value to you. Look, you're sitting here now today, hook, line, and sinker, you got her. It worked, didn't it?
Part of the plan.
It was part of the plan. Look, we're gonna sell your house, we're gonna save your money, and you're gonna come work here. Look at that.
Sorry about that.
All things come in threes, right?
That's probably 60 grand's probably what, like $1,200? What's the millage rate over here, like on average, like 2%?
Well, I can tell you that if she wins her case, which she should, her assessed value may end up being less than what it was when she bought the house. It may end up being even lower than this. So it could be a huge win for her. Where it really gets sad is the people that it's escrowed and it's maybe a first time home buyer and they get hit with this and they didn't see this coming and they're like, oh my goodness, this is an extra $50, $75 a month. We're already tight on our money. We got approved for this loan by the skin of our teeth and now we got a bigger tax bill. We got bigger problems on our hands.
That's about 2010 when they reassessed Adams County, people were losing it. They were like,
Yep.
holy cow, what are we gonna?
There's lots of Fairfield that aren't even buildable that they assessed at like 50,000.
They're all assessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's not, have you heard anything about a reassessment? Because I mean, it feels like it's right for a.
Oh, he knows something.
I'm glad you asked that. So in Maryland, they do rolling reassessments. They do a third of the county this year, a third of the county next year. The final third gets done the third year. And then on the fourth year, the first third gets redone. They have what's called a rolling reassessment that theirs just keeps going. The reason they do that is they keep up with the values and it's more cost effective. To reassess an entire county, you're talking a couple $1 million. The only way that a county reassessment can take place is if the county commissioners, approve that to be done. How many of them do you think are getting reelected? Not a single one of them, because you're gonna clean house.
Yeah.
So by saying that, nobody wants to throw the money out there right now, nor ever. And number two, it's political suicide. So the $1 million question is, when is the right time to do it? There isn't a right time to do it. So you just kind of go with the flow until somebody really says, we've got to do it. My opinion is we have property values that haven't been this high in a number of years. Why not do it now? Get a good baseline, because who thinks that property values are going down in the next 12 to 24 months? Nobody? No? Why? Why aren't they going down for you?
They're continuing to creep up.
322
There's-
houses on the market.
There's
Why?
there's too much competition.
So too much competition for what?
Inventory, there's not enough inventory
Well, why isn't there enough inventory?
because everybody refinanced and brought their
That's part of the, part of it.
and brought their interest rates so low that they can't even do a lateral move. So,
It's an affordability.
yeah.
You can trade down and still pay more.
A
Yeah.
lot of boomers who are just aging in place and enjoying where they're at.
Mhm. Anybody else?
The overall, cost of a good sold is at 3.7%
Okay,
as of today.
okay.
It was at 2.94% last week.
Mhm.
So with the cost of goods sold increasing, who is gonna go out and buy a home if they need a new refrigerator, a new, and then also salaries are not increasing at the rate of the cost of a good sold.
So,
That's what
so
is
at some
driving
point.
the housing market today. Well, the actual big point is gonna lay in the 6% constant interest rate.
So what,
It has to be at 6%.
is 6% the empirical? Okay,
Absolutely.
and when are we gonna get there?
Good question.
That's the $1 million question. you know, what's gonna move it. The other point that I'll bring up is in 2008, 2010, when the market crashed, builders went, I don't want to build a thing. You know, there was builders that went out of business. There was land that sold for pennies on the dollar, and while building is up, construction costs are up because of labor, materials are up because materials are up. And lumber is kind of at the price right now, barring a natural disaster or something like that, or a catastrophe that, from what I'm hearing, it's about as low as it's gonna get. So that's all supply and demand. So on the appraisal end, okay, let me tell you what I want you guys to do to help the appraiser. Number one, don't take down your photos, okay? Somebody said they want to take the photos down. Is that you? Yeah, I would say if they're, pretty sensitive property, down. Take the photos down, whatever you do. No. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Can we take them down after the appraisal?
No. You guys see, that's like the next thing. Use them as comp. I use them as comp.
We gotta work for our clients, Steve, sorry.
Your next appraisal's cut, so. Wait, is that all you're selling is one house? That's an active listing right now. Who has two active listings right now? Who has three? Why do you have three active listings?
Well, some are good, some are bad, some are new. So,
Yeah. Price, location, or condition?
Seller, is that a possible problem?
Price, location, or it's one of three things. It's price, it's location, or condition. I've never seen nobody change the location of a house. It's price or it's condition. What I want you guys to do is when your properties go under contract and the appraiser reaches out to you, okay? I don't know if you do you guys use the PAR competing offer form when you do offer presentation?
Like the comparison form?
Yeah.
The multiple.
Yeah, multiple offer form.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what I want you to do is redact all of the pertinent information, okay? And I want you to send that to the appraiser, okay? That way they see, what I do when I have a listing is I will reach out to the appraiser and I do it in an email format. That way it's very, we had this many showings in this many days. We had this many offers, and I'll send them the competing offer form, but I take out all the names, the phone numbers and all that. I redact all that information. And I will go through and I'll use the rationale or the methodology of why we accepted the offer that we accepted. The reason is that helps to paint a picture, because on the back end, when I'm putting together the appraisal of the property, I have an underwriter going, well, why did it sell for $30,000? You know, or if, let's just say there was extra stuff left in the house, that's a big thing right now. People, I can't tell you how many times I see in the MLS, anything left in the house, it's yours. And we're not charging you for it. You know, put down the reasons why you accepted the offer that you did. Okay, it's very helpful because the underwriter over here is going, why did it sell for so much more? You know, and when we can paint, when you guys can paint the picture to the appraiser, because again, they want the appraisers over here, they want the lenders over here, and they want the realtors over here. They want everybody on island, so nobody communicating. Well, let me tell you this, we all need to communicate to make sure that the deal gets to the closing. And that's really the biggest thing. Yes.
I was just gonna say, so I usually give the appraiser my showing time information,
Yep,
so you can
that's
see how
perfect.
many showings were scheduled, and I will do a verbiage to you of how many people came through the open house,
Yep.
how many offers, but I've never given the multiple offers. So,
I do, and I'll tell you why, because that way I know they can see that I am not lying to them about the offers that I did receive. When I tell them that 3 of the 4 offers were over the list price, they're like, yeah, right. You know, they don't believe you. You know, like here it is. This is what I presented to my client, and this is the reason why we took this offer. And maybe the highest, I love when my clients don't take the highest offer, but they take the cash offer, and then the cash offer decides to go get financing, drives me crazy. Or, yeah, I know, it's like, take a cash offer. Or if they took the offer that maybe wasn't the highest, but they waived the inspections. Well, my clients took that because of this. You can paint the picture and it helps the underwriter. Some underwriters are very understanding, others have got their heads up their proverbial you know what, and they don't, they can't see the forest for the trees. They don't believe you.
And most people are not even here in our area, they're somewhere else,
They are somewhere else,
literally.
Yes, so I think that's very helpful that you do when do, some people want to know, should I be there to meet with the appraiser? There's dogs, yes. If there's kids, that you need to distract, yes. Other than that, it's really hard to appraise a property when we've got the entire congregation going with us from room to room to room. Can you please move out there? I need to take a picture of the room. Please let them know that the appraiser is required to take their own photographs. Well, the realtor took really nice photos and they're all online. The lenders don't want to see it. They want to see our photographs of the property. Just explain that to your sellers. Sellers want to be there. I don't have a problem with them being there. I just try not to have a whole group of people, mom, grandma, the whole, they have all the cousins over, the nieces. Hey, we're having a play date today. Isn't this great? Makes it really challenging. I know you guys wanted to talk a little bit about adjustments, because I know we hit on them the last time. Is there any one particular area of adjustments you want to know about? Oh, apparently you do.
Can we go back to land?
Land.
Yeah.
Didn't we beat this the last time?
Yeah.
It
Do it again.
Okay. The hardest thing we appraise, land.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of it goes back to, number one, the zoning of the property. Everybody should be pulling the zoning on every property you do. It goes back to that. It also goes back to what is legally permissible by the township or municipality, okay? You have to determine what that legal use is. Single family, multifamily, double wides, no double wides, so on and so forth. And if it's subdividable. The other thing is, if you're talking about big parcels of land, is clean and green. Okay, is it in clean and green? I had somebody call me, they're putting 2 parcels of land together. But they said, well, we might want to take 2 acres off and give to one child and 2 acres off and give to another child. I'm like, before you go walking down that, don't always say, sure, I'm sure they'll let you do it. You got plenty of land here. There's a rollback tax. Whether or not you have enough road frontage by the municipality, be very careful what you say about land. And now you're gonna ask how much per acre, right? Sure.
So there's a particular piece of land
Yeah,
that,
so you wanna buy it.
no, a person I know is purchasing it and they
I'm
are,
asking for a friend.
yeah. They are gonna subdivide it to get the house and some land off of it,
Mhm.
but take an adjoining piece that's and add it to their already clean and green. Is it better to do that than let that chunk stand alone in clean and green if it's all allowed?
So, well, that's the first question. Is there any rollback tax? Because remember, I believe it's 7 years worth of rollback tax that you have to pay on that,
Mhm.
okay? Also, if you take, are you pulling one of the parcels out of clean and green?
No, so the
They're both
parcel,
gonna remain in clean and green,
one is in clean and green, one is not. But
okay?
one that is not is being subdivided to take a chunk without the house and add to the clean and green property beside it. Does that make sense?
So they're making the clean and green property bigger, or they're gonna?
Bigger, yes.
Okay. So you're affecting the value. It depends what you're gonna do with it. You putting a hog farm in? Okay, are you putting a dog kennel in? What are you doing with it? You don't shoot at anybody, you should be okay. But it's really determining the value of, you need to determine what value, how you're affecting the value that you're taking from. And look at the value you're adding to over here. And, again, maybe somebody may not want to live next to that, but it sounds like it's probably a rural or an ag type property. But valuing land is the hardest thing we do in terms of trying to determine a value per acre. Okay, you have to look at the topography of it, what you can legally do with it. Woods, I told you last time, don't value wood land. I'm gonna tell you again, don't value woodland. That comes from our buddy Martin Heaps. Steve, do not value woodland. Amish friendly, Amish friendly is a huge thing. I don't know, I know the different, huh?
When is Amish friendly?
Certain townships are Amish friendly. They like them. There's other townships, they want no parts of them. Yeah, they do everything they can to dissuade people, the Amish from coming into their municipality.
Or that?
Right now.
They like them in Gettysburg. and things.
They do. They do like Gettysburg.
So what makes Amish friendly? Insurance, okay, that they are,
The township will welcome them into their community. And and in many cases, they want them to, they're in their community and contribute to their community. There's other areas where they don't want the buggies on the road because they're going to tear on the road with those tires, rims or whatever they use. They're a nuisance. There's, because they not be regulated nearly like the average farmer can be. But the thing about the Amish is, if we can get, and I learned this from Martin, if you can get, let's just say $100 off of an acre over here worth of goods and services by English farming, which is what we are, the Amish can get $200 off of their land.
Why is that?
Why? Because the processes they do are all by hand, and they can get a higher yield for their crops than what the English can, is what it is. And Amish will buy where other Amishes are. Just like the newest place for people to retire is, where are they going?
Tennessee,
Carolinas.
Florida.
Georgia.
Really?
Where the grandkids are. That's where they retire.
That's me.
Why are they here?
That's right. Grandkids, my kids and grandkids.
Otherwise,
I'd be back in Wisconsin.
go pack.
That's right.
Yes.
What do you assign a value to a true raw piece of land versus one that is perk and probe approved, so might have water on it, like what?
Well, it all depends. So if you're talking about a well drill.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cost of drilling well right now is about $7,500-ish is what the cost is. Now, if you're looking at two properties side by side, one has a well, one doesn't have a well, are you willing to pay $7,500 more for this one? Or take a chance of, maybe it will, maybe it won't. My perspective, I think having the well is a big positive because you know that it's already there. The same way with the perk and probe. There's a lot, when you buy a raw piece of land and there's a lot of unknowns, you're going, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, So $7,500 is about the cost of a well. The traditional septic system right now is about $20,000 to $25,000 is what the cost of that is. And in new construction, to go 1 linear foot of road, water, sewer, anybody want to take a stab at what 1 linear foot costs? 1 foot, 12 inches.
Couple hundred.
Ryan?
$5,000.
Not quite $5,000. It's about $3,000 to $3,500 to go 1 linear foot. That's why a raw building lot in York County with public water and public sewer, ready to build, it's about $83,500 today. In a good school district.
Site work's out of control.
Site work is way out of control. Development costs are super expensive. The average new construction today is almost $500,000. For your basic run-of-the-mill, average track built house, nothing exciting, nothing whatsoever. Basic house. A guy just put a 24 by 36 garage in New Brittany, and New Brittany has covenants that they have to have all brick exterior that has to match the house. He's over $220,000 for a 24 by 36 garage. Because stormwater. You know what? He's got a huge pit out back, lined in rock. Yeah, stormwater is a biggie today. What other adjustments you want to know?
Whole buildings.
Hold on.
Yeah. whole buildings.
$10 per square foot.
$10.
If it's nice, 15 if it's really nice.
Per square.
per square foot.
About basement square footage.
How's it finished?
Well,
70 shag carpet, paneling and molding,
let's assume like track builder grade.
like this. Finished like this. Drop tile ceiling, drywall, carpet.
The shot around this building.
So in your, now, talking about a city road property,
Figure like your typical development colonial with
yeah,
1,000 square feet in the basement, finished at, builder grade carpet, drop ceiling, paint wall.
we're usually right now running about $15 per square foot. Yeah. Usually. And again, let's just say upstairs, you've got 5,000 square feet finished upstairs, and you've got oodles of space upstairs. That additional 1,000 in the basement, you come to a point of diminishing returns where 6,000, these big mansions that were built in Wyndham Hills, that were built in the 90s. People are not clamoring to buy those homes like they once were.
At what square footage do you feel like the dollar per square foot starts to tail off, right? Because there's like a high point in there somewhere.
You reach a peak, and it depends on the neighborhood, it depends on the size house, so on and so forth. Going back to my example of the 90s built, late 80s, early 90s built home in Wyndham Hills. Okay, that's 6,000 square feet above grade, another 2,000 in the basement. You walk through it, it has the original kitchen, the original bathrooms. You want to heat it, pay $15,000 a year in real estate taxes on it and have to renovate it. Those houses, the younger people are about life experiences. They're not about the big house anymore. They're about life experiences, and that's kind of going away from those McMansions is kind of like the new trend of what people are doing. Or you walk into the very compartmentalized home. Okay, here's the formal living room. No, it's not. It's a formal playroom now. Here's the formal dining room. Well, there's playroom number 2 over there, or the home office, those kind of things. Do you have a question? Pools. They're in ground. They hold water.
Do you subtract or add?
What do you do in Wisconsin?
I don't have pools in Wisconsin,
None?
hardly.
Hardly.
They have to be inside if you have a pool. Most of them are top, they might be on the top, but you don't get in-ground pools in Wisconsin.
Since COVID, don't we assess a value?
What we see from our perspective is $15,000 to $20,000 for a really, really nice pool that's in good shape, well maintained. Right now, I just did a new build. Now this one's over the top. The bill cost of the house was $1.75 million was the cost of the bill price of the house. And the house was only 4,000 square feet above grade, and there was probably another 1,500 in the basement. Everything was in upgrades and features and things like that. They had, just for the pool alone, $175,000 of that $1.75 million. Guess what? Appraisal came out a little light. But they had put so much in upgrades. I mean, their cost per square foot was enormous. But it's gonna be a beautiful home when it's done. But it just, and their real estate taxes, when I estimated the real estate taxes, now it wasn't in York County, it was in Lebanon County. Their real estate taxes are gonna be just shy of about $27,000 a year. But if you can afford a $1.75 million house, are you worried? It's like,
And then from Jersey probably, and it's half price. Like, so.
it's like, you go out and you buy a Lamborghini, you don't ask how many miles per gallon it's gonna get. You're just asking, how fast can I go? How many tickets am I gonna get?
What about above grade square footage adjustments, we always said like plus or minus 250, 300 square feet.
Right.
On either side.
So an appraiser, the delta for an appraiser where we start making adjustments is at 100 square feet.
Okay.
Is when we actually start making an adjustment for above grade square footage. It has to be a difference of 100 square feet, more or less. And the one thing that to be cognizant about is as you walk through the house, you got to look at the floor plan, you got to look at the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, you got to look at all of those type of features and things like that, and really see how does that home feel? Does it have any functional utility? Like an older home where you have to walk through one bedroom to get to another bedroom, things like that. But an appraiser, generally speaking, Anything less than 100 square feet difference, we won't make an adjustment. I'll give you some very general statements of what we're giving for a price per square foot. She loves this.
Just give me the basics. I'll
Give you
do
the
it.
basics.
Something
So
small.
city property that's well maintained, we're roughly around $15 per square foot is what we're adjusting above grade. Okay, city property, decent, city property. Now, I'm not talking Springdale or anything like that. I'm talking your average row home type properties. Let's jump into Haynes Acres. Let's talk about those kind of houses. We're $25 to $30 per square foot for the brick ranchers or the two-story colonials that are a little older, things like that. When we start getting up a little bit nicer, newer home, we're $30 to $35 per square foot. Let's talk about 2,000, 2,500 square feet is what we're adjusting for above grade. Nowhere even close to what construction costs are. And if we jump into Wyndham Hills, then we're talking higher end, we're $40 to $50 per square foot is what we're adjusting for above grade finish, yes.
How do you calculate that 40 to 50, 30 to 20 to 30? Like, how do you?
I
do that?
have spreadsheets.
Is it just past sales and price per square foot? somewhere
Yes,
across?
yeah. It's a tricky, I can bore you to death with regression analysis if you like.
So,
If you want to get into that. So it's a lot of data. It's a lot of data driven. It's not like one of those things that we just woke up one day and said, this is what we think and this is how we're gonna adjust it. Hang on, I got him, then I have you.
so if you make an adjustment for square footage, then you also make a bedroom adjustment. So you've already adjusted for the square footage difference, which is likely the size of a bedroom, right? Is there an additional?
I don't do that. I specifically don't do that for that reason, because I think it's double jeopardy. You do it twice.
Slow around?
Thanks for praising Kate.
Maybe I'll be picking up a new appraiser. Easy now. I don't make you sign a 5-year contract or 10-year. So in looking at that, and I think this is very, very important, and it's a great question. I'm glad you guys brought it up because I think it's so incredibly important, is when we are appraising a 2-bedroom home and you're valuing a 2-bedroom home, let's just say a 2-bedroom Cape Cod. I think it's imperative that you look at comparing it to other similar 2-bedroom homes, because I think there is a vast difference between clients who want to buy a 2-bedroom home and clients who want a 3-bedroom home. So, we will always try and compare apples to apples, number of bedrooms, even in like a 2-story colonial. My son bought a home on Raintree Road and he bought a 3-bedroom, 2-story colonial against my better judgments, and he's an appraiser and I could have beat him over his head, but he did it anyway. The reason he bought that home is it was affordable. It's what he could afford, it's where he wanted to live, and he bought that. But I think there's a big difference between a 3-bedroom, 2-story colonial and a 4-bedroom, 2-story colonial. And what we really try and do when we're comparing apples to apples, once again, is compare 3-bedroom to 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom to 4-bedroom. You've already, and I think Kate's mostly correct, you've already accounted for that difference in size or square footage where that additional bedroom would have been. But market reaction might tell you, your client may say, I only want to look at 3-bedroom homes, or I want to only look at 4-bedroom homes. And you really got to kind of read the room and feel how it's going to be in terms of what adjustments you're going to make. I personally do not try and make bedroom adjustments unless I really see that the market is commanding a higher price. I will tell you this, I own rental properties in Woodmont and in Harthridge, the townhomes. I can rent my 3-bedroom home out much easier than I can my 2-bedroom homes. But my 3-bedroom home tends to have a higher turnover rate. And I get more wear and tear out of that unit.
Why is that, Steve?
Families.
It's too
Yeah.
Is it-
Well, my 3-bedroom rent's the highest. Okay, my 3-bedroom is $1,600 a month. Plus all utilities. My 2-bedroom that's directly across the street is $1,400 a month. But I can rent that 3-bedroom out all day long because people love the 3 bedrooms.
I suspect that, plus they outgrow that home too. Right, because if they're looking for a 3-bedroom, there's probably a reason that maybe they have a couple kids and
Yep.
then the next thing you know, they
Yep.
need to move
And
out.
how about blended families?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, blend.
I love blended families these days. I'm the divorce king. I get all the divorce, men and women, you know, and they usually come with kids. Like, great, how many do we have? His, hers, and ours. That's the new thing, his, hers, and ours. But I will tell you this, you know, and I think we were talking about affordability. Affordability has kind of left the building. I've got young couple that are great tenants, and I've kept their rent low, and I've been trying to find them a house, and they're just completely frustrated. They are beyond frustrated. There is no affordable housing out there. For rent, they're kind of, and they realize they're throwing money away by renting, but they can't do anything else. Why, you want to rent too? Okay.
I just need a house.
You need a wife.
Just need to keep my house.
Okay.
Going back to your conversation about square footage, I'm really seeing, I live in Eaglesville, so
Okay.
like up top, they're building these tiny homes now that are 3 bedrooms, 1,600 square feet.
Ranchers.
But even the colonials, but down below, we are the 4 bedroom,
Uh-huh.
2,200. So how do you see yourself like comparing those? Cause you're looking at your square footage, bedrooms.
I will not compare a rancher to a 2-story person.
I'm talking about colonials. They're
Yeah,
both
colonial.
colonials. But we see these builder trends now because of affordability. These builders are creating these tiny homes just to try to keep it in the 400s. So that's naturally gonna catch up to neighborhoods and assessing. So how would you-
Assessing for price.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to send the assessor here?
No,
You
no,
already got your.
they already got me.
How do I see that? So you're correct. The building trends are smaller. Even when you buy, you know, food at the grocery store, it's shrinking. It's like, and your bill keeps going up and up, but they're trying to make you feel good. So again, hey, you can still get a new home, but it's just smaller in size. But there are those people that like the new home. They like that new car smell. They like that new whatever. And there's other people that are like, give me the used one. Let me, you know, let me put new paint in. Let me do new carpet. I'm good with that part of it. You know, so again, but when we appraise, you know, an existing home, like I won't use. When I'm appraising your home, I'm not gonna use your existing home. I'm not gonna use a new home because they're not similar. The same way, you know, vice versa, when I'm appraising a new home, now this is where it gets tricky. The underwriter, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're the gods that speak there. They want to see 2 sales in the neighborhood and 1 outside the neighborhood. They prefer to see resales to show what the market has done. So I'd like to get a home that's maybe 1, maybe 2 years old. That it was an arm's length transaction, not a divorce case, not anything like that, but that can show that those property values are going up. I look at homes that sold pre-pandemic and that are selling now, on average, and it doesn't matter where it is, they're selling for about $100,000 more.
Yeah.
I mean, $100,000, you know, right off the top, you know, right.
So, I have a
House
listing
seizure?
appointment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do have a house seizure, but I have a listing appointment and, we were having a conversation over the phone and she was talking about all her updated amenities. And I wanted to have this conversation because she was telling me, she says, I have all upgraded lighting and I put a double stainless sink in. And I put new switch plates throughout the house and I put new vinyl flooring in my bathrooms. Like, does that really hold any weight? Those types of things. I mean, I know if they have an updated kitchen or bathroom or,
What if they put updated kitchen in with gold fixtures?
yeah.
You know, what if they've updated the house, they put all new wallpaper in?
Right, right.
What do you say?
Paper's nice.
Huh?
Some wallpaper in them.
Take wallpaper off.
Yeah, but too, you have to look at the availability of the property.
I think it's the appeal to the market.
Right.
Again, what you do, and again, you guys are, you know, your therapist, because you go in, your marriage counselors, you know, he did this, she did that, you know, she's sleeping with the neighbor down the street, whatever. You know, but you're trying to do the best you can to declutter their house, get the crap out of the house, make it show well. You know, where are we going with the dogs and the kids while showings are going on, you know? So again, you have to do that, but you also have to do things to get the house ready to sell. And all these upgrades, I think it increases the marketability of the home, and it may increase the price, but again, dollar for dollar, you're not gonna get that back out in the marketplace. back in the day, hey, I put a brand new Keener kitchen in, back when Keener was in business. Keener kitchens used to be, they were God, and they was gold.
Yeah.
My mom's house has a brand new Keener kitchen in it in 1970.
Right.
And it's ugly as sin. My mom thinks that's gonna sell her house. I said, my mom's house will never be sold till she dies. I said, you're not even gonna be told, and I'm gonna have the contractor in here and I'm gonna gut this thing. What she can do to increase the marketability of her property.
20 years ago, when we would do our MLS listings, we would specifically say Keener kitchen.
I know.
And they are starting with cabinets that are from 1970.
Yeah.
And the outside, because she touches them, it's all wearing off,
Yeah.
and it's like, and you can wipe them, and my mom smokes in the house and she claims she doesn't, and you can. Smoked in that house a day. Walking this cloud of smoke.
Investor.
Yes.
Appliances, he doesn't put fridge, stove, that matters when you place.
Fannie Mae indicates that you must have a stove in the property. You have to be able to cook.
Oh, sorry, so he put a stove, he hasn't put a fridge or range over the stove, so
Why isn't he doing it?
saving,
Huh?
saving some money. But he hasn't put a fridge in there, and
I'll tell you my opinion, and I get into a lot of houses. I think for the cost of your average run-of-the-mill stove, stove, fridge, dishwasher, microwave, for just put them in and be done with it. It looks so much better than a hole there, where the dishwasher should be.
And a first time home buyer may not be able to buy it. because they don't have that money.
And from the affordability,
washing.
no, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. But, you can go out, and these appliances, Lowe's, Home they can be expensive, all of it, Frigidaire, GE, whatever. And they're expensive, you can be done with it. Because again, it makes the house look complete, it makes it look, like you want to move into it. That's really what it comes down to. Mindy, you had a question?
Yeah,
And Kate, I think,
do you know of any townships that allow tiny homes?
not here,
Nowhere.
Lebanon,
Okay.
yeah, they're building in Lebanon, they're actually building them for veterans.
It's all, yes, it's a little community, tiny.
Yes, yeah,
I think like Fairfield would be a perfect spot, but their minimum size is like 1,000 square feet.
yeah, a lot of these township regulations have not kept up with trends. Just like ADUs, accessory dwelling units, quote unquote slang term is in-law quarters. They don't, some don't permit.
That's what I was gonna ask next is what townships allow 2 dwellings on one parcel. Not attached.
Not attached.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna surprise you in this one.
Okay.
The answer is I don't know.
Oh,
But I'm gonna surprise you with another answer.
Okay.
Okay, we had a lot. That was probably 40 feet wide by about 150 feet long. Huh?
shotgun house.
Shotgun house. 2 mobile homes.
Oh,
Mobile home from about 1960 something. A double wide, it was 14 wide by 38 long. Double wide, on a foundation, believe it or not, a basement. They said you could replace either one of those with a like similar unit. You'll never find a double wide that big to replace it, because all the double wides, but they would allow you to replace it. You gotta, every municipality is different. This is Lebanon, Pearl, believe it or not, of all places. Cause I called them, I'm like, there's no way they're gonna take this. Now, what the lender didn't like was the single wide was not permanently attached. So they called it personal property. But you got to check with the municipality, ADUs, in-law quarters, whatever they are, above grade, below grade, wherever they are. You've got to check and make sure that they are legally permissible. What I've learned since the last time I was here, that you guys don't know, that you're gonna love me for, because you either close your ears now or now you'll know it. It's like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. according to Fannie Mae, if it has a kitchen and the township does not allow a second kitchen, everything has to come out. Everything has to come out.
What's everything? The kitchen?
The cabinets,
I thought you meant like the whole thing.
no, everything has to go back to, this builder grade fit in here. This paneling in here.
They couldn't take out the plumbing of the sink and call it like a craft space.
Nope. Not according to Fannie Mae.
How does one determine whether it's like a basement bar or another kitchen?
I try and get away with candy kitchens, Westwards, and caves. There's a lot of things I like to call them. And when Fannie Mae says no, you ain't going Fannie Mae. Now, if you can find somebody to do portfolio, that's okay. Local banks portfolio it. Lender in Lancaster. Loan arrangers. Interest rates. 13%. Points, like 3%. 3 points. $37 billion actively lent in the market today. $37 million. Do the math.
We're gonna pull our money. Or try.
$37 million. 13 and 3 is what they charge. Default rate, less than 1%.
People want.
People need money. I got a call yesterday. God, I hope nobody in here is doing this. Anybody have a church listed for sale? Somebody wants to buy a church. $350,000. They have cost to renovate $700,000. So we're talking about $1.05 million investment in this property for a single family home to convert a church into a house. Hold on, I'll get you read. How many $1.05 million churches do you know out there that are houses?
Yeah.
Fannie, take it, if you can show comps that are like it.
There's one in Jacobus.
Is it $1.05 million?
I doubt it. I think it was Flinchbaugh's listing.
How about the Accomack Inn? Do you see it sold?
Yes.
See what they're doing with it? With that,
Frank Messina had it.
you know what they're doing with it?
Oh, no. What are they doing with it?
It ain't a restaurant.
Oh.
You know why? Nope.
Because it was.
It doesn't have a working, it has holding tanks, no working septic system. There's no working kitchen, but there's a commercial kitchen, there's no residential kitchen in it, and there's 2 half baths in it. Somebody's converting it. We did highest and best use analysis on it. Clearly, the market has said it's not for a restaurant, because when a restaurant gone in after 5 years, highest and best use is residential property. I don't know, because somebody bought it. We appraised it. I didn't appraise it, but yeah, we did a highest and best use analysis. It's gonna be a residence. Be a full residence. But it had no septic system, holding tanks, so you figure the number of people that use that and the amount of cooking and water, how often. It's not just.
And now it's gonna be.
Properties.
How far out can you go if you're doing a church?
Multi-county.
Okay.
If I'm appraising a log home here in York County, I'm looking at the whole county for log homes.
Just like contiguous county, if you can go that far out.
Yeah, if you can describe what you're doing and why you did it. If you've got that barn dominium. Anybody sold a barn dominium yet?
I have clients building it right now.
Barn dominiums are the hottest thing in the face of Europe right now. Barn dominiums. Whole barn, you're gonna make a house. But yeah, you can expand your search. Now, if you're appraising a home in a neighborhood, and let's just say you're in Dallastown School District, you're probably not going to Southern, you're probably not going to Southwestern, you're probably not going to Eastern. You're probably gonna stay in Dallas. If you have your average.
So back to that double wide, you said you can't find a double wide big enough to put on that foundation. Can you sit?
Yes. Yeah, they'll let you do that. I'm sorry, Reed.
So the left back is still up for sale.
Mhm.
And then I pick away. So the upstairs is apartments. And downstairs, of course, is the restaurant. It is, according to John O. Kirkland, it is being listed at 1.6.
Okay.
How is it appraised? If it's upstairs rental, downstairs restaurant?
It's a commercial loan, it's totally different than res, it's commercial, so. They're looking at income. They're gonna look at the income approach is what is the primary driver of a commercial property like that. Yeah, is what they're gonna do. They're gonna look at it strictly from that, I'll give Maria initiative. Yeah, but that's how they're gonna value it. But you have to look at the income and you have to have an income stream. And I'm not talking a 1 month, 3 month, they're looking at a 3-year income stream. I don't do commercial. I know enough to be dangerous, but that's about it. Hang on, I got her,
Okay.
and then I know, oh, I gotta get your HOA.
I have 2 questions.
Oh, now I got an HOA. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know if there's a shortage of split levels that for comp purposes.
Where?
Oh, okay, really? Because, yeah, we just got a huge appraisal cut because they said there weren't enough,
So appraising a split level, I may also look at a bi-level. I think a bi-level,
Right.
where you can maybe go up, down, or a split level, where you.
Yeah.
Go that way. I think if you can make the argument of why you did what you did, okay, and it makes sense. Now, not appraising a rancher to a 2-story, not appraising a condo to a fee simple townhome. You don't do that. You don't cross paths like that. You gotta stay in your own lane. I think if you can make that determination, and I would supply them with other things that have steps or in a similar location, similar square footage, similar age to determine a value. And I think if you can drop the breadcrumbs in a path that make the most sense, then, you can at least show them the direction of what the thought process was. And I think that's the most important thing you can do is define what you did and how you did it. Yeah.
Do you have any tips that we might not be thinking of when you prep for a listing appointment that you do personally?
Oh, you want me to give you my secrets? Just the one?
Just one.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'm guilty to a T of being. Now, let me phrase this. Remember, I did 13 sites last year. That's all I did. So it wasn't like I did a ton of business. I did enough to be dangerous. I'm probably truthful to a fault. A lot of times people will say, well, I really think we can get this much for our house. I really think this is where we need to list it. I can tell you several listings I walked away from last year that they wanted. It's again, price, location, condition. Their price and my price didn't align. Sometimes it's just easier to walk away and just say, good luck. But with my listing presentation, what I do, I never give a price the first time out. I know a lot of agents go out there and say, this is what it is. And that's scary. I've heard some of it. I'm like, well, how do they determine a value by just walking in here? They just said that's what I should do, But you don't, unless you've done your research ahead of time, you really don't know what you're walking into. But those are 2 of the things, but I really try and be honest with people and no hard pressure sale. Not like I need to get this listing or I'm not gonna eat this month, kind of those type of things. But I really try and make sure that if I tell them I'm gonna call them back in 3 days, I make sure I call them back in 3 days. Even if I don't have an answer, I make sure I make that reach. And then I kind of put it in front of them, and if they're gonna eat, they're gonna eat, and if they don't, they don't. I'm not a high pressure hard, but I don't have to be, because again, that's not what I do that's not my day job. That's my fun job. And the other thing I do is I do things a little differently is, again, I give them a lot of direction in terms of where they need to go to clean the property out and do some things like that. There's this girl that I serve with on Bright MLS, and I think the world of her. At first, when I met her, she drove a pickup truck. Nothing against women in pickup trucks, have no problem with that. But I got to know her, and so I said to her, I'm like, and she's from rural Virginia is where she's from. She actually helps people, especially older people, they're her clientele. She helps them to develop a marketing plan, not only to sell the house, but to clean the house out of all the stuff that they have accumulated and to repurpose the stuff. And she has actually developed a business plan. She isn't making money on the cleaning out of the house and she's actually worked in tandem with helping them to make it feel like their stuff is being taken out of their house. She actually has a thrift store that it goes to, like a consignment shop, something like that. She's hired somebody to run that, and she doesn't make any money off of that. She just makes money.
That Dover.
Huh?
Is it the place in Dover?
No, this is in Virginia.
Oh, it's
Yeah, but she does that, but she makes people feel like their stuff is still valuable by repurposing it, is what she does. And her marketing plan of what she did, and I went on a walk with her, we had a meeting like a month or so ago, and I was just asking her about how it's going, and she just, people don't want to just throw their stuff in a dumpster. And I'm the kind of person, I'm quick, easy, let's get it in the dumpster, let's roll, let's get it out the door. And again, it's sort of like with my mother, I'm a little rough with my mother from time to time. She can be rough right back. But I'm right to the point, but people want to feel like their stuff is valuable, even though it's junk. Yeah. So that's kind of so what do you do? On your listing appointment, give me something.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. What's your secret sauce?
I don't like to keep it formal. So like, when you walk in the door, especially if it's not somebody that it's a cold lead. It's the most awkward, like 60 seconds where you're scrunched in the front door and you're like, hi, how you doing? So then I like immediately find something that I can talk about and then guide into the tour, relax, let's sit down on the couch, maybe not necessarily the kitchen table. I just try and make it
Very informal.
like
Yeah.
relatable.
Yeah, that's what people want.
Not
They want to be heard.
overwhelming.
I think listening, I think if we can listen more than we talk, we can get a lot of information from them. A lot of information. I do when I do my appraisals, and again, it's reading the room. You gotta listen sometimes more than you talk. Again, when you get the husband and the wife in the room and clearly they're no longer gonna be together, it's kind of like you're refereeing. You get to the point where you just kind of put it aside. Ryan had a question, and his question was, when we appraise a property and it's in an HOA, are we using other similar properties in an HOA? And the answer is yes, kind of, sort of, maybe, but not all the time. Okay, do not compare a condo to anything else but a condominium. Okay, make sure it's condo to condo. Okay, very important. PCs, planned communities. Steve, what's a PC? Planned communities, you own the land right underneath your building, and that's it. Where are they? Regents Glen. Where at? Right inside and to the right. Renoge. What's that?
in Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah, and they're in Gettysburg as well. But Renoge, it's good to compare a PC to a PC. Also, Chanticleer, out by Apple Hill, they're PCs also, not condominiums, but PCs. Rosa Miller Farms, the big ones, they're condominiums. Make sure you keep them as condominiums, completely separate than everything else.
If it's just a HOA that does nothing but the front maintenance of the entry, like, are you comparing that to a regular house?
If it's $48 a year, if $4 a month does it, really good. Yeah, but there are certain that have told me, I don't want to live in an association. Then you're going finding that neighborhood that there's no association, and usually it's an older neighborhood, 10 Oaks. Any association up there?
Don't know anybody who lives there.
No? I think I do.
Yeah, you do.
I think I might have been in her house once.
Yeah, we do.
Sounds like everybody's been hearing it.
It is part of it.
Miller, which properties are you talking about?
Sorry?
You mentioned Rosa Miller being PC. Which properties are?
No, condo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, which ones? The 55 and over?
Rosa Miller Woods. So,
Yeah, Right,
yeah,
right. Okay.
they're all, it's gated. You can't get in there unless you have the gate code, 3130. The gate. He yelled out at me. Really? He wanted me to get going. I'm like, I don't want, I'm trying to get there. I was there playing the magic buttons, you know? And I couldn't get in. He yelled 3130. Like, I yelled back, thank you, it worked.
She's asking about comping homes that are named, so her particular one is less than 2 years. And the other home, or I'm sorry, her subject property is 5 to 7 years old, but all the comps in the last 6 months are less than 2. What is your kind of cutoff for age?
Again, it's kind of like reading the room, and it's kind of what we talked about, bedroom adjustments, things like that. You gotta look at how well the house has been. I look more not at more of age, more of like condition, wear and tear. A single person living in a house is gonna have a lot less wear and tear than somebody who has kids and pets and everything else. So, and that's why those photos, again, I can't tell you how much we value those photos. And I will say this, because I've had it happen to me twice this year so far. The professional photos I had taken are way nicer than what the property is. And if you read my agent descriptions, and again, it's about being truthful, I will put in there, carpets need replaced. Photos are much better than what they look like. Trust me, because the last thing I want to do is I don't want one of you going into one of my listings, or, and I'll tell you who's really good at it, is Ross Denard. You know. He is brutal, really good.
He just got a new understanding. I think his writing, immediate remarks get longer every year. And how out does the public get?
It does. Yeah.
Your client does not want to drive with it.
Yeah. You know what? He just saved you showing the house or something.
Right.
I actually clients that said, "Look, a flat lot," and, you know, I look at one of his listings and it says, if you want a flat lot, don't show this listing.
Right.
And they're like,
That's what he does.
but the photos look like it's flat.
Again.
I said, someone, yeah, you know, do you want to live up a cliff? No. I said, well, then you go ride by it. If you really want to see it after you ride by it, we'll go look at it. I get a call back, right? But be brutal, be honest, but a lot of it goes back to condition. And again, the condition is huge. And I think you have to respect your fellow realtor. I've worked with several of you in this room, and I can tell you that the end goal, buyer wants to buy, seller wants to sell. You want to do not only what's best in your client, but you want to put the two of them together. You don't want to have a settlement where one has to be in one room and one has to be in another room. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, I have a coming soon. So open house this weekend down in Stewartstown Station. You want to come visit me? And I had to fight with them tooth and nail to put the word dated in their description because their kitchen is from 1996 and it,
How about original?
and
We have
it's
to do
like,
dated, can't we do original?
well, I wanted people to understand because, you know, like right up the street's new construction. And like, we don't have corian, we don't have granite, we don't have quartz, you know, we don't have silestone. We have wood trim laminate.
But to them, that was like, they spent a lot of money.
Getting that wood trim.
Yeah, they did.
My new word is retro.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody seems to like.
Actually, I had a buyers that said, I want to see a retro home.
Yeah,
They actually asked about, it, like,
I mean, if there's like tile around the bathroom, blue tile, green tile, I think
Pink.
retro, yeah.
Disclose. And believe it or not, the appraisers do read the seller disclosure as well.
You're not supposed to.
Why?
I don't know, but.
Were you lying to me? What-
No. I thought you weren't supposed to.
Why?
I don't know, but that's what I was told.
Who told you that, Ryan?
No, I'm not gonna say, but.
Serious.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I thought that they weren't, I thought that you just read the listing and you didn't read the supporting documents. Documents. Oh, okay. I was told that by somebody who's no longer on this earth, but. No. No, no, but in ages. I do have a question.
No, but the honest answer is, a good appraiser is gonna know everything they can about a property. Good, bad, or indifferent, or about the comparable. If there's an outlier, whether it's really, really high or really, really low, there's a reason why it was well above price or well below price. And it's our job to be able to tell them, I'll be right to you.
Well, you can put me at the end of the list, but I have.
No, go ahead. I already yelled at you, so.
The last time you were here, you gave out like, a value sheet.
Yeah.
Are those values still the same? Because I think you said that they may get addressed.
We're still, so RAC is gonna do a survey this year. I have to get on Shauna. She's been busy, we've been busy, but we are gonna do another survey. 2019 is the last time that we did it. We're gonna do it again. So when you guys get the survey, fill it out. Fill it out. The more data we have, the better it is. Part two.
Do those, a lot of work that I do is in Cumberland County. Are the values that you give the same for Cumberland? No.
I do work in Cumberland County as well. It's amazing. So let me give you a real quick analysis. Maryland is still coming up, push the values up. Lancaster is still coming over, push the values up. Mechanicsburg, Camp Hill, Hershey is still coming down. Because it's cheaper here. The only place they're not coming is from Adams County into York County because it's cheaper in Adams County, correct?
It depends where you are, because you have the battlefield, you have all the churches, you have the college that are all tax exempt, and that puts the pressure down on at the borough.
50% tax. Cheaper than.
It's still cheaper than York. It is still cheaper in York. Yeah, so there's different values for different, when I go to Lancaster County, their values are,
Is there a place to get like what you gave us for the different counties?
yeah, go find a appraiser that's stupid enough to do this. I mean, you can defend yourself with somebody who knows values, who's really in tune with it. Like I said, I'm a little different than most people, clearly I'm here, but because I do a little bit of brokerage and I do a lot of appraising. And, you know, not only do I serve at our local level at RAC, I also serve on the Bright Board of Directors and things like that. So I do a lot of different things. So, you know, I'm kind of a chameleon. I change my colors from time to time, just depending on what I'm doing. I know you had a question.
Who buy houses without rehab loan.
Okay,
So I gave the appraised value, so it was appraised for 267.
okay.
He told me listed for 270. Listed for 270, maybe I sell for 2 months. So I will reduce the price to 250, 59. He told me just put that it was priced for 267 in the public remarks. So if they just put it there, so everybody knows it's worth more than what we listed. It's not good.
That's his opinion.
It's-
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we didn't get them, now I'm on contract, I don't have the second. Is that good to do that, like, list the,
So, Stacey brings up a really good point, and it's gonna be the last point I'll leave you with today. So when you get a property and it goes on its back, and let's hypothetically say you have it listed at 249 and you get an offer at 269. Should you change the price in the MLS? How many people think yes?
You're gonna see it now anyhow, so, no.
Yeah. The answer is unless you have a signed agreement with your seller, you can't change it, right, broker? I'm not broker, yeah. Okay.
Some guy in.
Oh, my God.
Somebody.
The answer is, it doesn't change it, we're gonna see the price. His opinion is that's what the value is, that's his opinion. You are the,
Even come to the.
so if anybody gets sued, who are they suing, him or you? Talk to your broker and ask him or her what their opinion is.
But that's what both the house, yeah, we have loan,
Okay,
that's. The
So you need an appraisal done before and after.
what was it appraised then? It was. Well, yeah, if you have documentation, I've had people who have me do a pre-listing appraisal.
Then provide the appraisal.
Yeah. Yeah, you put that in the documents, here you go, here's the appraisal that proves what it is.
That's what I did that, but I put it in the pile remarks, by the way, to everybody else.
Yes.
That's what I did.
That's a broker decision, and I don't wanna step on your broker's toes, you let them make the decision.
You do broker?
I do.
Do you want to be our broker?
Here?
Yeah.
No, did you have these?
You have too many.
The problem, if I'm 5 years, I can't appraise your
Not be able to leave the
Stop.
parking lot and be back.
stuff, and I can't appraise your stuff.
Yeah, but you get.
Hunter gave me a massive,
But that,
gave me a massive cut.
That you can actually talk.
did he?
Yes.
What'd you do? Which one?
It was on Dylan.
Dylan Drive?
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
did you talk to him?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Exactly what I expected him to say,
Which was?
based on the comp center.
Anybody want to leave, they can go. You guys can stay here today. Yeah, apparently I'm your broker.
Yeah.
We all. See, well, that way you won't get Hunter.
Yeah.
He'll screw you over. I don't think you want me as your broker.
Now you're talking yourself now.
No, because I call balls and strikes.
Yeah, let's do it. You're right, take one.
You want me to call balls and strikes?
What do you mean?
It's double like it.
Black and white. There's no gray. I call balls and strikes.
Black and white.
You like? Hey, look, black. So anyway.
I just want to know if there's any, I've disputed appraisals.
Yes.
Is there? And I've
There's a
had,
form coming. There is a form.
there
They're
is,
working on a form.
Well-
They have.
but I rarely have any success rate with disputes. And I go into detail. I mean, really detail. You mean what? You do?
No, with disputes.
You do?
I had a.
Oh, and then maybe I should call you to do my dispute next time.
You see so many statistics.
If you received that from you, I'd be like, yeah.
I think the book statistics. He has the best book. So I gave him the weekend. And the value came in over what we sold it for. It was buyer too. I was pissed. It wasn't even my listing. It was my buyer. My buyer was pissed. So we just put a whole scatter plot together and, sent it to him. I don't think he knew what to do. The thing is, they're putting together a form. Fannie Mae is working on a form. We were supposed to have it this year. It's looking like it's probably gonna be 25. So if you can survive till 25, we're probably gonna have a form that's you're gonna be able to fill out, the lender's gonna give you. And what you're gonna do is list your comps, if there's any inaccuracies with the appraisal, like square footage, missed a bedroom, missed a bathroom, fireplace, porches, deck, patios, anything like that, you'll be able to put it right on the form. You're gonna give it to the lender. You can't give it to the appraiser directly. The lender's gonna give it to the appraiser. They will do a rebuttal or a revision is what there will be. There is a form coming. God, I thought we'd have it this year. It'll be nice when we have it, but it's really, really gonna be good.
And what gets me about that is that, the seller refuses to reduce the sale price. So we put it back on the market and then we get a new buyer and then it appraises. And it appraises.
And then you look.
It looks like it.
It does. It's just, I will tell you, there are some lenders that the underwriters are really, really, really difficult. And I can call this wall gray and they're gonna call it blue.
It's beige, so.
So.
Huh?
And- That some of the, I can't say the word fault, but I will. Some of the fault lays in the actual underwriter of the lender and not the appraiser, because if that's the case, then we as an association, especially statewide, should be putting pressure on the lender and not on the appraiser.
Well.
And that's what I'm gonna say.
And say, we don't agree with the comps you selected. We don't agree with the adjustment you made to the comparables. We've had to actually send them documentation to show how we've derived our adjustment to prove our appraisal. I have one lender who turned one of my appraisals. They did a review of it at the upper level, and they didn't like it. They settled the loan. In post-closing, they sent it back to me for review. I didn't change anything on it. I disputed the whole thing. They sent it to the state. Then the state, they turned me into the state. Then I had to dispute the appraisal with the state and went through it with the reviewer, and they found me not in fault.
Is there a
But I,
difference of opinion between the quality of the underwriters? Is that it?
yeah, there's some lenders that are more stringent, their underwriting guidelines. Remember, they're about risk management. They're about managing risk. And there are, you know, just like there are more conservative realtors, there's more conservative appraisers. There's more ones that are willing to step, you know, to the line, maybe a tad on the line. But, you know, again, how fast do you want to drive down 83? You can go.
I think that what we need is a lot more consistency between.
Just real quick, are there more appraisal cuts happening now than there had been in the past couple of years?
Well, first of all, there's never been an appraisal cut. We readjust the sales price.
Price adjustment.
I can't say there's today. I will tell you that you have to read the markets, and the good part is their housing stats came out yesterday. The median sale price from January to February went up 10%. We were just talking about, about values. Historically, we have trends. We keep trends in our office. Like I can almost tell you within probably a 5% margin how many appraisals we're going to have every month. We watch the prices in November and December drop. We watch your income drop because nobody works November, December. January, credit card bills come. Guess what? People are back out selling houses again. Our spring market used to start in April. It's now. It's now. I want to wait till the spring market. No, now. You know, luckily we don't get a lot of snow like we used to get. Get it on the market now. Get it listed, get it sold. What's that?
Still March.
It's not gonna snow. But that's fine. You have a short drive.
Then you gotta do a broker.
That's fine. I'll be your broker. You don't want me to be your broker. She's smiling like she does, and I'm like, what do you do? But again, you need to be able to read and react to all the housing trends, everything that's going on. Our market puts out great housing trends, and you can always see what's happening. Homes always sell for less November, December, and usually longer period of time on the market. Right now, how long are they on the market? We were just talking about that.
It says it's on.
I think it's wrong. If your house is on the market more than 7 days, it's price, location, or condition. It shouldn't be on the market that long.
We should have T-shirts made that say that.
Like location or condition?
Well, still, but I don't want to stop this way. According to Ray Act, we're at 20 days now. Okay.
Not if it's priced right.
Let's wrap up with Seth, and then if you have anything
You can hit me
afterwards,
again.
grab them.
And it depends on the price. $1 million house got a little bit longer. Go ahead, Seth.
Just real quick.
Yep.
Because I'm hearing different things from different people. Cape Cod, second floor.
Yep. Yep.
So you mind hitting?
Sure. Do you want the ante one?
What?
Do you want ante?
I want quick and I want the real answers.
Point quick and real answer.
Yeah.
Okay. In my car is a laser pointer. Okay, laser measure. From the bottom of the floor to the highest point has to be a minimum of 7 feet. As the wall, as it slopes down like this, we'll take it along here to where it reaches 5 feet. Okay, anything from 5 feet headroom or lower doesn't count. 5 feet to 5 feet, straight across. That's your area. If you have a bump out that comes out here in a full shed dormer and it's 7 feet tall, it gets included in the living area. And you should have no problem as tall as you are in telling how high it is.
I'm really good. So I actually, Jeff and I, my partner, we asked another appraiser that will go unnamed and he told me something completely different.
Take the first floor, divide by 2.
I'm not even gonna repeat what he said.
We measure it. We are required to measure it.
Yeah.
Now, slippery slope, talk to your broker. This is where I would call balls and strikes. Okay, do you measure your house?
Do I?
Or are you relying on the tax records,
Oh, no, I meant,
the whole thing?
yeah,
What is, and that square footage is what you're reporting in there.
yeah. It's
I don't do that.
We're supposed to do that. Do you do that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not on the spot here, I'm semi-retired.
You know, fire agent, do your.
That is the key.
Get the photo people, they measure.
Yeah, but if you're, Kubakasa, we have Kubakasa, it's free, it's right.
It's part of your.
Yeah.
membership.
Yes. Yeah, you can literally, we came out to, within 5 square feet. We measured our entire office, we came within 5 square feet. It's really, really good.
The little laser,
No, your phone.
It's in your freaking bright.
the little laser,
Yeah, it's, you can do a floor plan
yeah.
of your whole house. On Kubakasa, it's free with your Bright subscription, and you can go around and you can do it.
And it's Casa, but Casa.
Guys, was this worth the price of admission? Oh, it's Still print all that out, but that's a quick, easy way to connect with your client.